Welcome to Feld Entertainment Studios. I know this is the first time here for a lot of you, but this is the global headquarters of Feld Entertainment, the largest live entertainment production company in the world. We're glad everyone's here. My name is Stephen Payne. I'm the Vice President of Corporate Communications here at Feld Entertainment, and I will be your host for this event, along with our two guests. Obviously, all of you know why you're here. This past weekend's announcement that Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey will be ending its 2 tours in May of this year. It was a very emotional announcement for everybody involved, so we're pleased that all of you are here to cover this story. Just a couple of housekeeping items about the structure of this press conference. After I introduce our guests, there are no introductory remarks. We're just going to go straight into it, and we'll start with questions. When I call on you, if you could identify yourself and your affiliation, and then we'll roll through the questions. What I'll do is, if you can ask me your question, I'll determine, and we'll, between our guests, who's the appropriate person to ask it. I do hold moderator's privilege to limit the number of follow-ups so we can get to everyone in the room. As you can see, we have, from a media perspective, everyone. So we want to make sure everyone has a chance to ask questions that they might have. So with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Kenneth Feld, who is the Chairman and CEO of Feld Entertainment, and Juliet Feld, who is Feld Entertainment's Chief Operating Officer. And if anyone realizes they needed a sound check for this during the first question, please let us know. We want to be accommodating and make sure everyone gets the sound for these interviews that they need. So with that, we'll start off with the first question. If you could just throw your hands up and everything, and I'm looking at you in the front row. Yes, ma'am. Kenneth, why don't you want to take that one?
Sure. First of all, thank you all very much for coming today. We appreciate that. We made this announcement Saturday night, so I can't say, first of all the remaining shows through May 21st are not sold out. There are tickets available, and we hope they will be sold out, and we hope people will come for the last memory. So we're expecting the one show closes in Orlando today, and the show that closed in Miami yesterday is on its way to Birmingham, Alabama. So I suspect that's something that we'll know in the coming days or weeks what the impact has been.
Next question. Yes, ma'am. Juliet.
Just to echo what Kenneth said, thank you all for coming today. We will be working with all of our people, including performers, to help them transition to other opportunities. And in the next few weeks, we'll be meeting with people individually and working out a customized plan for each person. And some of those services that we'll be providing will include job placement, housing search support if they've been living on our train, interview preparation, resume preparation, those kinds of things.
Will some people retire out?
There may be some people. I can't answer for certain.
Next question. Sir in the purple on the end here.
Jake Locals, SRT Magazine. A number of circuses like Circus or Circus have permanent locations in tourist destinations like Orlando or Las Vegas. Has there been any consideration put into Ringling Brothers or Barnum and Bailey instead of touring, looking at a permanent location somewhere?
Kenneth.
At this time, we have no plans of a permanent location for Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey. We're focused on the performers and all the people that are impacted by this through May, and then we can think about what the future may be.
Gentleman, right here.
Ian Marble with Local 10 in Miami, the ABC affiliate. What about the animals that are involved in the show? What's going to become of them?
Kenneth, you want to take that one too?
Sure. The animals currently in the show, we are looking for suitable homes for them, and that covers lions, tigers, horses, camels, llamas, all the animals that are on the show that our company actually owns.
Next question, ma'am, right here on the end. Juliet.
We have seen a downward trend in attendance over 10 years, and because Ringling Brothers is so close to our heart, and because we are a privately held company, we really made every effort possible to change this trend. And last year, after we retired the elephants from the touring units, we saw a much steeper drop in sales. And we monitored that through the through the rest of the year. And when we looked at the ticket sales from last year and then what we were seeing in advance sales this year, it led us to this decision. We're no longer able to see this as a sustainable business model.
Yes, ma'am, in the back right there. Kenneth, why don't we start with you for that one?
Of course, we're sad, and it was a very difficult decision to make. But we look at the entirety of it. We look at what the future is, and as Juliet said, it's not a sustainable business model. So we have to put all that into the mix. There's a lot of people involved that it impacts, and people that, in many cases, I've known for almost 50 years. So it's definitely sad. As far as artifacts and things, for as long as we've had Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey, which is almost 50 years, we have preserved costumes, scenic elements, artifacts, all these things. We've worked especially with the Ringling Museum here in Sarasota, where they have many of our artifacts, and we'll continue to do that. So, yes, the history will be preserved and be in a place where people can see it and enjoy it and appreciate what an American institution this is.
Yes, ma'am, on the end here. Yep, right there. If you could identify yourself for us, please. Thanks. Kenneth?
No, we don't share figures. We're a private company, and we have never done that. I will just say that since last May, when the elephants were taken off the shows, the percentage drop was much more severe than what we anticipated, and that's what ultimately led to this difficult decision.
Let's go over to this side of the room. I saw a hand up. Carrie?
How significant was it? I mean, is it the elephants that caused this, the retirement of the elephants? Is that what led to the end of the service?
Kenneth?
It was a combination of things. And again, it wasn't one day everything imploded. It has been going on, as Juliet said, over the past 8 or 9 years that there's been a decline. We've done everything that we could to stem that, and you'd have a better year, you'd have a down year, but it was basically flat but on a declining angle. When the elephants left the show, we did not anticipate the absolute impact that it would have, and it was much greater than we thought. We tried many different marketing strategies, promotional concepts. Nothing seemed to work, and it was far more than what we felt that we could sustain with the business.
Yes, you in the back, right there. Yep.
Hi, I'm Lauren Rosello from WFTX Canada. So many of us grew up with like the magic of the circus coming to town. It was a huge thing, and I think so many of our viewers remember that excitement. Is it just a new world? Are we living in a place where we can't recapture that excitement? Or I guess what do you attribute to? Are kids just different now? Are families different now? What do you think?
Juliet?
What I think is so important is that live entertainment is not going away. There is no replacement for being live at an event and being in the moment and in the experience. We have many other businesses, Marvel Universe Live, Disney on Ice, Monster Jam, Supercross, and others that are thriving. And the legacy of Ringling Brothers will exist in that it has infused all other live entertainment. And it was the foundation not just of our company, but also of live entertainment in America. And the things that came out of Ringling Brothers have inspired entertainment and also simple everyday things like the light bulb that was first exhibited at Ringling Brothers 100 years ago.
Yes, sir, with the pad in the air.
Building with Inside Edition, you are custodians of an iconic brand. How, if you thought, how can America be great again without the greatest show on earth?
Kenneth?
Well, we think every day that America is great, and it's not great again. It's always been great and continues to be. Let's face it, times change, and there's been more change probably in the last decade than in the preceding 50 or 70 years. So entertainment has changed. Attention spans. The traditional family unit is quite different today than it was many, many years ago. So everything has an impact. And we've been fortunate through having Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, and that is a foundation of this company, to learn a lot, to be able to do all kinds of entertainment. And if you think about it, years ago, if anybody is this old besides me in the crowd, that there were 3 television stations. There would have been 3 of you here today. And instead, there's many of you. Whoever thought there would be a food channel, a golf channel, a do-it-yourself channel, all of these things. So we've gone from very general entertainment that Ringling Brothers was the originator. It traveled the country. It was the grandfather of all live family entertainment, and it was and had to be all things to all people. So now we have a world of specialization. And even if you look at our company, at Feld Entertainment, whether it's Supercross or Monster Jam or Disney on Ice or Marvel Universe Live, they're very special entertainments that cater to different segments, different demographics. Everything is much more broken down. We're a data-driven world, and so all of that data goes into the entertainment, to what people do every day. And that's the long-winded, simple answer of where we are.
Anybody along the periphery here? Yes, sir.
Jeff Lefkowitz with Channel 9 in Orlando.
Juliet?
One of the factors that contributed to making this decision regarding Ringling Brothers was certainly that Ringling Brothers was a standalone live event. And our other lines of business, Marvel Universe Live, Disney on Ice, Monster Jam, Supercross, have a 365-day presence in our fans' lives, whether it's through television, through robust digital offerings, through toy lines and other license channels, lines of business. And that certainly was something that played into the downturn in ticket sales.
Charlotte, let's go back to you.
Two things. First of all, I probably shouldn't say this, but one of the greatest thrills of my life was going across 34th Street in Manhattan to the Elephants when they came out of the Mist. So I thank you for that, as a child and even as an adult, seeing it. But I know Stephen last year when he talked, when he had the press conference about retiring the Elephants, and you're taking them to your conservation unit. Will you turn that facility into a zoo, since people do like to see the elephants? And in addition, since it does cost so much to house them and feed them, and I remember Stephen saying water them, is that a possibility for you? Since that's one of your factors for lower ticket sales that you believe.
Kenneth?
I didn't fully understand the question because I think there were two in there.
Turn the elephant conservation unit into a zoo.
The Center for Elephant Conservation is a place for the elephants, but it's not equipped to bring the public there. So our hope is in the future that maybe something can be done, whether it's there or someplace else, to have the public be able to see these incredible creatures. Yeah.
Yes, sir, on the end here.
Manuel Borges with CBS News. How many animals are we talking about, and how can the company assure the public that you will be committed to their well-being even after the show is over?
Juliet?
Our commitment to all of our animals is for their lifetime, and we continue to provide the high level of care that we always have. And our job now is to find suitable homes for all of our animals in the next few months.
And how many are we talking about?
We're talking probably about...
It varies by unit, anywhere from 50 to 60 animals of various species per unit. Per the two, yes. Yes, sir, with the Channel 8 mic in his hand.
Channel 8 out of Tampa. How many employees will be impacted by this closure, and what kind of positions will they be moved into?
Juliet?
Over 400 people will be impacted directly by this decision, and that has been the hardest part of doing this for our family and for our company. And we are working to help support them through this transition, through job placement support, housing search support if they've been living on our train, helping them prepare themselves to find other jobs however possible.
Did they be moved to some of your other shows or moved to other services or other companies?
There may be some other opportunities within the company, but in large part, unfortunately, no.
Yes, sir.
So what do you say to the animal rights activists asking to make these changes for years? Is this a win for them, and do they impact the city at all?
Kenneth?
This is not a win for animal rights activists, nor is it a win for anyone. The over 400 people that are impacted is what we care about first and foremost, and it's unfortunate. The animal rights activists, I guess, I don't know how they will say it's a win, because they're going to have to find some new agenda for fundraising, I suspect. But no, it's not. I mean, we stand behind the care that we always give all of our animals, and we continue to this day, and we will into the future. So it's an unfortunate situation for everyone involved.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what
I can take that one. It's going to be roughly 60 employees, 50 to 60 employees who are not on the touring units. Next question, ma'am. Juliet?
We considered many different options, weighed many options before coming to this decision, and we tried many different programs and things to do anything but make this decision, and unfortunately it's the one that we found is in the best interest of the company right now.
Other questions? Yes, ma'am, in front.
So since Feld is here in Manatee County, it's, kind of in our backyard, are there any final performances or any kind of ending, I guess, spectacle planned for the area here for Manatee County?
Kenneth?
We are in Tampa at the Amalie Arena the end of this month, and that will be the final performances in the Manatee metro area.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything in the works to have some kind of a closure, send-off, farewell, opportunity for people in the community, opportunity for people who love the circus, have been impacted by it, to, show their support, say thanks, kind of a farewell to such an icon?
Juliet?
We hope that over the next 4 months, fans who love the circus, admire everything that our incredible performers do, will come out to see them and to thank them for everything that they do. We have no other formal plans right now.
Any questions in the back? Yes, sir, standing back there. Could you identify yourself? Thank you.
In terms of the last 8 or 7 years, how many is the money that the company lost?
Kenneth, I think you've answered that, but if you want to.
Yeah, we don't discuss financials. We're a private company, and so that's not something we're willing to talk about.
Yes, ma'am, in front. Well, Juliet, I think you want to talk about the train, and Kenneth can answer the litigation question.
We have 2-mile-long trains, both Ringling units, travel by train, performers, crew, and all the equipment. And we will be looking to divest those trains as best we can in the next few months.
Kenneth?
Concerning the legal bills, and if you've followed the history, the Humane Society of the United States, the ASPCA, and some other animal rights organizations had sued Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey. We prevailed in court, and actually they settled and paid us in excess of $25 million, which was represented over 10 years of litigation that they basically paid for the litigation bills.
Question, man in red in the back.
Taylor Vincent with ABC Action News. I'm sorry, this is switching subjects slightly, but we heard that the driver of Grave Digger may have been injured. Can you comment on that?
Juliet?
On Saturday night at the Monster Jam performance in Tampa, Dennis Anderson, one of our drivers of Grave Digger, did sustain some injuries. He received appropriate medical care, and we continue to stay in touch with him, and we'll keep everyone apprised of how he's doing. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, over here on the end. Kenneth, you want to start?
I didn't hear the last
The
part of the
question was, when you broke the news to the circus performers, what was their immediate reaction?
The immediate reaction, I think, was surprised that we were closing. I think they had seen over the past year a decline in audience and attendance, so they're aware of that. And I think this only happened Saturday night, and it's for the time to sink in, and it is 4 months for all of us to work together in the transition.
Let's look back over here on this side of the room. Anybody on the back here who hasn't asked a question? We want to make sure everybody who hasn't asked anything gets a chance to. You, sir.
First of all, with the Tampa Bay Times, is there any severance package for the performers and other circus workers?
Kenneth?
Yes, there's appropriate packages for each individual involved in this.
Tell us a little bit about that.
No.
Next question. You, sir, on the end.
Last month, you made a big deal about the first female ringmaster in the history of the circus. And a month later, here we are terminating the circus. I was wondering if there was some sort of final straw that happened between then and Saturday night.
Juliet?
First of all, I hope that everyone will get a chance to see Kristen Wilson in the next few months. She is a spectacular star, and know that she will have an incredible career ahead of her. At Feld Entertainment, we have always supported women in prominent management and performance roles, as you can see, and we will continue to do that going forward.
But I was just wondering, it seemed kind of abrupt after making a big publicity splash over this a month later. I mean, did you not know back then that the end was imminent?
We had not made the decision at that time.
Other questions? Yes, ma'am, in the back. Kenneth?
I didn't hear the end of the question.
Could you repeat the question, please?
No, the elephants are in Polk County at the Center for Elephant Conservation.
Carrie?
Is there any kind of strange irony or oddity that you prevailed in court against the animal rights activists, but their sustained campaign, city to city with local authorities, is kind of what brought this to an end for the circus?
Kenneth?
We prevailed in court 100% of the time, and it has been multiple different litigations, and every single litigation we prevailed. There is and has been a tremendous amount of misinformation out there by the animal rights activists over the years, and there has been tremendous pressure on local legislators throughout the country that have enacted regulations that made it impossible for us to, and let's just take the elephants, to take elephants from city to city. You would have one city where the regulations were X, and then you go 40 miles away and completely different regulations. And the one thing with animals that you need is a consistency of care.
I guess to follow up, did you win in court or lose in the court of public opinion?
We won in court, and obviously, in the court of public opinion, we didn't prevail.
Next question. Yes, sir?
Regret eliminating the elephants or eliminating other aspects of the show in hindsight?
Juliet?
Transitioning the elephants off of the touring units was the right decision, and we stand by that decision. As Kenneth said, regulations change in different communities or different municipalities that prohibited us from continuing to tour the elephants. There wasn't a way to change that.
We only have time for a couple more questions, so I'm looking in the back row to people who haven't asked any. Don't be shy. Oh, I see one on top here. Could you identify yourself, please? Kenneth?
I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but the circus has evolved. I mean, if you think about it, and I don't know if you know of any other entertainment companies that have been around for 146 years, or in our case, that we've had ownership in 50 years. It's an extremely long run. So the only way that you stay around that long is to change. And we have changed, and it's evolved, and the show, when people go, whether it was in Miami this past week or Orlando or wherever they see the show, they love the show, and people like it. There are a lot of other situations that led to this, and I think Juliet mentioned them, where, you know, in today's world, the circus is not in the everyday vernacular of kids as it was at some other point in time. So they can't even talk about it in the vocabulary, and it makes it more difficult. So the other thing is kids drive what parents do with them in the sense of entertainment. Where you take your kids, it's what your kids demand. And if that's not a part of their life every day, they have no point of reference to demand that.
We have time for just a couple more. Yes, sir. Juliet?
At this time, this is the end of Ringling Brothers touring units, and our focus is taking care of our people, and there may be something in the future, but we can't speak to what that is right now.
Yes, ma'am. Kenneth?
We are working on that, and over the next 4 months we will. And, you know, it's like one day you can't take 50 animals and say, okay, here's a home. So we're working on a process, and we will find suitable homes that adhere to our high standard of care.
Last question. Yes, sir. Kenneth, did you hear the question?
I really don't want to speculate on what dead people might say. But if you look at the history of P.T. Barnum, he actually started the circus when he was in his 60s. So he came from a lot of other businesses, and he went into a lot of other businesses. And if you look at our company today, we're in a lot of businesses. An example is this past weekend, we had 26 tours around the world. 2 of them were Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey. The rest were either Disney on Ice, Marvel Universe Live, Supercross, Arena Cross, and so it's and Monster Jam just down the road here is one of them. So the company is a robust company. We're always looking at new entertainment, and we are a company that looks to the future. We look ahead. We always have. And Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey is an important and a great part, and it is the future until May, and then it will be part of our glorious past.
With that, I'd like to again thank all of you for coming. I know many of you have had conversations with some of our communications staff team about either follow-up materials or follow-up interviews or doing shots outside by the train that you saw when you came in. So we'll be circulating around the group to make sure everyone gets all the information they need. But finally, once again, I'd like to thank you for coming here this morning and thank Kenneth and Juliet for sharing their thoughts on this really monumentous decision that the company has announced. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you all very much.